And now, presenting the 2024 album ranking tier list of albums and EPs that came out this year, hosted by Wave himself.
2024. It's been a magical year. A very, very good year for the scene, for metalcore, for hardcore. We're going to be ranking everything that I know came out this year and everything that I personally listened to. And we'll discuss everything that encapsulated my year and most of the community's year as well. Hopefully this gives insight to me as a avid listener in the community and to what my taste is. And there's a lot of records that came out this year that I didn't review on the channel and that I didn't talk about on the channel just in general, because I was very inactive. This was like the most inactive I've been out of the whole 3 years that I've been doing this. It's been a quiet, sad little year, but we just hit 6K. Nice. But yeah, let's start at the beginning. We have S tier, cream of the crop, perfect album, front to back, everything about it. Mwah. There's the A tier. This is 4 albums that were amazing. They did really well. They had great concepts, but something was just missing. There's B tier, which is essentially albums that were good, but that's it. There's C tier, kind of a disappointing record. A little underwhelming. Ideas didn't necessarily land. It's kind of just like, There's Poopy. I feel like that one's kind of self-explanatory. And then we have the bonk tier. So this tier is specifically for records that came out this year that I have not listened to. Specifically records that have made an impact or were talked about heavily amongst the communities. So I still wanted to include them in here because I wanted to recognize them for the impact that they've had on the culture and give myself a little bonk to remind myself that I didn't listen to them. This is not really an order of time. So we'll start with the first one on the list, which is Fit for an Autopsy. This was a record from a band that I didn't really know of. I knew of them, but I didn't really listen to them prior to this new record. But I was never really that big of a fan with like the, I guess, deathcore, doomcore, whatever genre Fit for an Autopsy falls under. But it was a really cool record. I think it's not necessarily my favorite genre, but there were songs on this record that I really enjoyed. I wouldn't consider it S tier. Probably wouldn't even consider it A tier, considering we have a lot to cover. So I think a safe B would be good. Next up on the list, we have Throne. A little bit of a hot take. Okay. Warning. Warning. I didn't really like it. I'm sorry. Okay, hear me out. I can explain. Throne has blown up this year. Rightfully so. They have a very aggressive sound. They're very intense, and they got really good music. This record, I feel like, for the consistency of tone in terms of sound, I just felt like it was too long. I feel like Throne, either they could have implemented different type of ideas, or like, the more I listened to the record front to back, the more it felt like every song started to feel the same. Like, as a record, I don't think it's that great for me, but I know that if I pull like individual songs from the record, every song is a relatively good song, but it's just too much of the same. That being said, I'm gonna put it at C. I'm sorry. It's still really good, and I feel like if I see them live, I'm gonna go insane in that mosh pit, because I feel like this is a really great experience live. As an album, I feel like it just didn't really hit as strongly as it did for me than it did for other people. 156 with their record People Watching. So many people's album of the year. They talked so highly of this record. My guitarist says it's one of his favorite albums of this year, and I haven't listened to it. We're probably going to react to it on the channel eventually, but I didn't get it in time before the year ended, so going on the bonk. Alright, Counterparts. This channel was dry. Life happened, okay? I didn't have time. The problem is that I was so inactive on the channel this year, yet I saved so many records so that I could react to them on the channel. So I just didn't listen to new music. I did, but like, anyways, moving on. So Dominic Fike released a record this year. These next two are going to be kind of straight away from the metalcore scene. Dominic Fike released a new record called 14 Minutes. Conceptually, it had some interesting ideas. So for me, that was a really cool record. I'll put that at B. He's good. Next, we have 21 Pilots with their album Clancy. I feel like 21 Pilots fans have gotten a bad rap over over the years. There are some dedicated fans, but I've always liked 21 Pilots. I started listening to them back in the Blurry Face era. I've seen them go through several cycles, and I feel like this newest record was so rooted in like a indie alternative type of feel, and I did listen to this record good number of times. So hear me out. It's a great record. So many good songs. I don't think it was a perfect record. There were definitely some songs that didn't really hit the mark, and I listened to it quite a bit, so that's why I feel like it deserves that. We got Imminence with their record The Black. Hurts. It hurt. I feel like the bonk tier, there's too many records that I just didn't get around to this year, unfortunately. Bill Murray, dude, freaking love that guy. Dude, like the saxophone, the meme core. This album itself was also really solid. It's just feel good. It's fun. That's an A. That's an A for me. B. Listen, there's a lot. I feel like we can move stuff around later if I change my mind. Next, we have Sleepyhead by an artist called Jutes. This is an artist that kind of blew up this year. This record is heavily rooted in like Deftones, new metal. There's a lot of really, really cool concepts here for an artist like Jutes to come out of pretty insane rebrand. I think he's doing a lot of really creative stuff with this genre. I listened to this record so much. So for that, I feel like that deserves at least an A. Locked Shut. Hardcore, baby. Really, really short EP. Such a good EP. There's so many good songs on this. All the singles were great. I'm relatively new to Locked Shut, and it's a relatively new band too. Really solid EP. I had a lot of fun listening to it. That's an A. Easy. Internet Girl, they have an EP called Role Model. Kind of an underrated artist. If you have not listened to Internet Girl, they are sick, but with like a weird kind of like soft twist to it. A friend introduced me to them not too long ago, and this EP really stuck out to me in a very unique way. So that's a B for sure. Next, we have Kingdom of Giants with their EP Bleeding Star. I did not necessarily get too attached to this one. I think there was some really cool songs on here. It's a good continuation from where they went with their last record. I just feel like it wasn't as memorable to me as some of their other work. That's a C. Alpha Wolf. This is maybe a little biased, but this whole list is biased because it's personal tier ranking video. This record was sick. I had so much fun listening to this. I don't know which Alpha Wolf record I like more. I do really love this record. It's a very interesting development from their first, so that's A tier for sure. Next, we have Casey. They released a record earlier, like pretty early into the year, and I love Casey. I just feel like I didn't really give this record enough of an opportunity to make an impact on me, but because of the fact that I didn't really allow myself to connect with it that much, I feel like I can't really put it higher up on my list, so I gotta keep it at C. Hiatus Coyote dropped a new record this year. Really interesting record. There was a BMO feature, which was like pretty freaking legendary. I don't know what it was, but this was not like that big of a connection to me, so I'm gonna also put that at C tier. Sea Space Cowboy with their album Coup de Grace. This is a really sick record. Heavy jazz influence. Back to that emo 2000s core. Love this record so much. I gotta keep it at A. Chromacopia. I just didn't get around to it. Alt from the New World. This one, on top of it being just my list, it's also incredibly biased that I just reacted to this. This record changed me. It's such a good record. It's some of the heaviest breakdowns I've heard all year. With that being said, love that. Yes, I like this. This is so biased. Knocked Loose, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To. One of my favorite records that has released this year. I've listened to it front to back an ungodly amount of times. They were my top artist on Spotify this year. This record was revolutionary for me. There's so many crazy songs on this. So 2 in a row, crazy. S tier. Well deserved. This artist called Vanna released an EP this year called Trial and Error. I listened to it quite a bit, especially the singles as they rolled out. It's really cool. It was exciting to see her development as an artist because I started to follow her when she was starting her rebrand. So for her to fully dive into this, like, I think she labeled it kink metal. It's really cool, and she's a really nice person on socials. Great sound, and I think the EP is also really solid as well. There's some great songs on that, so I think that's in the B tier. Wage War Tombstone. Ooh, I love this record. There are some songs on this record that I do not love. It's not to say that I don't like them, but it leans into a style that is not necessarily something that's like replayable for me. But that's literally just like a few songs. Do I put my Wage War Boys in S tier? No, I feel like this is just, it's missing something. Willow. Ooh. Ladies, gentlemen, non-binary friends, this record is so freaking good. Was genuinely blown away by this record. It was so creative. It had a really great energy to it. I really like this record, and I think I liked it enough to give it an S tier. Solid record. Boundaries, Death is a Little More. This record is genuinely amazing. Like Knock Loose, it pushed the boundaries of dark, pissed off, angry heaviness that I didn't expect to experience on such a personal level. I think I was genuinely like choked up and like almost started crying at least twice throughout this record, which you'll see in the second half. Literally just listened to it a couple weeks ago, but I think this one deserves an S for sure. Poppy, Negative Spaces. I'm sorry. Haven't yet. Not yet. We will get around to it though. 4 Years Strong, After Image or Afterthought. What's the name of the record? This album was completely left field for me because I hadn't listened to 4 Years Strong since like Warped Tour. That was a long time ago, like 10 years ago. Am I old now? Is this what it feels like? But they released a new record this year and it was insanely good. I was so surprised at how they managed to keep such a heavy yet extremely fun tone throughout this whole record. Really great record. I'm gonna keep that at A. Next up, we have Graphic Nature. They dropped a record this year that I checked out on my own time that I really enjoyed. They're a relatively new band, but it's like heavily on that like Alpha Wolf, Sleepwaker type of feel. But they're a lot of fun. I feel like their sound is gonna develop into something really, really cool. For me, this record didn't really hit as hard as some of the other ones on this list, so I'm gonna put that at C. Like Moths to Flames. They had a new record out this year. Didn't listen to the entirety of this record. I might not be the best person to be giving this ranking, but I thought it was really cool. This record is a continuation of like their heavy aggressive sound with beautiful melodies, dark tones. The album art is like one of the coolest ones out of all of the ones on this list. B is a solid placement for me. Speed, The First Test. This EP had a grip on me. Australian hardcore. It was short enough to where it made me crave for more, but not feeling underwhelmed by the lack of quantity. It was just like 6 songs or 5-6 songs of just pure bangers. So much fun, back to back to back. One of my introductory hardcore bands, and for them to be Aussies, I'm like a third Australian, so that's a lot of fun. Where should you go? Where should you go? I did not expect myself to put Speed over Wage War. I'm learning things about myself. Bad Omens, The Drain. I feel like this record was interesting and I definitely appreciate it more now than I did when it first came out. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of like remix records. Granted, there are still a lot of original tracks, like new original tracks on this record that I really like, but I think it was just good. Void of Vision, R.I.P. I never got to see them live. Genuinely heartbroken that I never got to see them live. I bought tickets to see them with Invent Anime and I forgot about the concert. The concert just passed and I missed it. But Void of Vision released a new EP/record. I don't really know how to describe it. Insanely good. Like, I loved this record. So many songs on this record that were EDM inspired. There was so many like really cool tempo changes and weird breakdowns and all these like technical incorporations accompanied by really solid vocals from Jack. I'm really sad that I didn't get to see them live before they announced their farewell tour in Australia only. And just for that, I'm putting them at A. I'm salty. I'm sorry. Next up, we have Gravemind with their newest record. I know some people have recommended Gravemind to the channel before, but I found out about Gravemind a couple years ago. I did listen to this record on my own time. It was really solid. Didn't really blow me out of the water, but some of the breakdowns were gnarly. I feel like maybe in like a year or two, I'll appreciate it a little bit differently. But as of right now, B. Uh-oh, chat. Bring Me the Horizon is here. Bring Me Stan is going to put them in S. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Bring Me is a great band. This record was probably one of their best records they've ever written. That's my opinion. I feel like I like this record a lot more than Post-Human Survival Horror. I really love the hyperpop elements. I listened to this record also an unhealthy amount of times. I feel like Bring Me is the type of band that can go through different eras and have each era be extremely defining in their career overall, and I enjoyed it a lot, so I think it deserves an S. Real Friends released an album. That's all I have to say for that one. Era. I'm sorry. I love Era so much. They're so fun live. They're super sweet in person. I just hadn't listened to the new record. I'm sorry. The Plot in You, all 3 EPs, bunched them all into one. This is arguably some of the best songs in metalcore in like the past 5-10 years. Easy. Forgotten is such a good song. I don't think I've felt the same since. Wonderful execution, and I think it's some of the best stuff they've ever written. S. Darko US with their newest album. Again, so many records I just haven't listened to. My goodness. Greyhaven, not that many people know, but I was listening to Greyhaven before they were cool. Just kidding. I've been listening to Greyhaven for a really long time because they opened up for Silent Planet a long time ago with Kubla Khan, actually, which is kind of crazy that I'm seeing both of these. They are the last 2 on the list. Greyhaven has been consistently a weirdly cool band for me. It's such a weird experience listening to Greyhaven. I feel like I can't really compare them to another band. They're very distinct at what they do. I like this one a lot. I just feel like I didn't give it enough listens for me to say that it's like higher up on my list. So I think for that, I'm just gonna put it at B. Of course, Kubla Khan, Exhibition of Prowess. I did listen to some of these and reacted to them on the channel. There are a few off this EP that I hadn't listened to. Kind of faded away from the Kubla Khan scene for a little bit. I think for now, so I feel like I might just leave that one at C tier. All right, this is how it looks. I think I want to make a few adjustments. First of all, I might bring 21 Pilots down, and I might bring Fike down even more. I'm bringing Bill Murray up. Okay, hold on. Let me analyze this. I don't even know why I made a poopy category. I feel like there are records that came out this year that I definitely didn't add because I would have put them on poopy, and I just didn't want to cause any hate. Okay. We're doing it. We're locking in. This is the final 2024 album/EP ranking for this year. I didn't include singles because I just felt like list would have been way too long at that point. I feel like this was also a year that I caught up on a lot of music. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with some of my takes? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Tell me your favorites. We survived another year. We had some great music that came out this year. My band is releasing an EP next year, so hopefully I'm gonna manifest it. Our EP is gonna be on someone's tier ranking. I want someone to look at our EP and say like, that was sick. I'm really glad that I was able to experience a lot of these really cool records this year. Hopefully we get to experience a lot more in the next one too. Thank you guys for being with me for another year. We hit 6K. I haven't made a video yet about it, but I'm so blown away by the amount of support I've had over the years, especially now. Thank you guys so much for just being with me and hanging out with me and talking about music and being stupid. I goof around a lot on the channel and I make a lot of stupid faces on this channel, but this music and this community that has been built because of the music, it's something that I hold very dear to my heart, and it's the reason why I started the channel. It's the reason why I connect with a lot of you. It's the reason why I listen to 99% metalcore, hardcore. It means so much to me, and hopefully I'm able to, as a musician, give back to the scene that has given me so much inspiration and strength. It's heartwarming to see the amount of love on the channel, and inspiring at the same time. So thank you guys so much for an amazing year. It's been a blast. Quite literally could not do it without you, so thank you so much for being here. That being said, if you're new here, if this is your first video you're watching, freaking subscribe. Do it. All right, we're good. Okay, see you in 2025. Peace.